So today we talk about Muslimah.com, right? That's one of the Muslim dating websites, right? So we'll be talking from the viewpoint of a lady. And if she's gonna set up a profile to get a guy, let's assume she's in her 20s or 30s and her parents haven't arranged some kind of a match for her yet. So the first thing you want to do is get your profile sorted. So on Muslimah.com, there's so many options. You try to fill in as many as you can so that whoever comes and views your profile has a good image of who you are and what you're about and your personality and everything, right? And the next thing you have to do, always do this, is upload your photos, okay? So you have to begin with the end in mind, and what that means is, try and think what kind of a partner, what kind of a man you're looking for. So ideally, your photo should be something that definitely isn't too revealing and also isn't too conservative, and I'll explain why. Because I assume you'll be looking for, a reasonably grounded type of man who could be described as, say, a somewhat conservative Muslim if you're in a Western country, but of the moderate kind, so not the extremely conservative type. So what happens is, if you put your profile picture to be one of the entire burqa or niqab, then the kind of guys you'll be attracting would, what we in Western society, not just Muslims in Western society, but just people in Western society in general, call sexist pigs. So pretty much you'll be able to attract the kind of guy who basically might view women as property in a bad way. So before we log in, I'm just gonna show you a screenshot of just the homepage. Don't log in first. Yep, okay, so yeah, just in case you're curious, this is how the website looks like, right? I'm not gonna show any pictures or anything like that. Yeah, so you definitely want to avoid these kinds, because then if they're viewing you as property, then they're not really respecting you, and also if you've been exposed to Western society slightly, you'll find it difficult. So imagine, like, if you're married and whenever you have guests come over, you have to remain in the kitchen, something like that, to people living in Western countries, this might sound a little bit ridiculous, but I do know of some people who are like that, or at least I've heard of them before. Friends who've lived in the Middle East, for example. And you also don't want to go to the other extreme, showing extremely revealing shots of your body as well. That's because you'll probably be attracting the wrong kind of company, because on all dating sites, not just Muslimah.com, you get a wide variety of guys, and if you show all your bikini shots or cutesy pictures of yourself not covering up, bearing a lot of flesh, you're probably gonna attract the slightly more perverted kind of guys, guys who want to have a good time, but then maybe they're of an Arab or Islamic descent, so maybe they also go to these websites to look for game, right? Because if these guys are going out to find different women to have sex with, if they find a Muslim woman, at least that's halal, right? Yeah, so these are just a couple of thoughts as well. And the reason why I say you have to have a complete profile, or at least as complete as you can, is because you want them to have a good image of you. So if you haven't completed your profile left, but then all of these guys are showing their expressions of interest, then you really have to question, what are these guys about? How, why would they show interest even if they don't really know what you're about fully and completely, right? Okay, so speaking of expressions of interest, right? Each dating website has got its own equivalent of that. For some websites, it's like, some kind of, send a kiss or, send a whatever it might be. But if suddenly you've got this website up and you've got a few guys showing expressions of interest, and only doing that, right? Just showing expressions of interest, yeah, then you could look into their profiles a bit. but in general discourage you from just going with the flow and trying to contact them. I mean, like traditional Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism and Islam, usually it's up to the onus is on the man. So if they're providing an expression of interest but not actually sending you a message, what does that tell you about them? That they're a pussy, man. They're just going around trying to sow their seeds, sending their kisses and expressions of interest all over the place. You don't know how many expressions of interest he has. Maybe he's doing some kind of, like machine gun strategy, go through every single woman's profile and then just plant, boom, interest here, interest there, interest everywhere, right? Means that maybe he hasn't really thought about what he wants, he's uncertain, or he's just like a wuss, he ain't got no game. So if someone messages you, good, check out their profile, go with the flow. If they're only sending expression of interest and it's a guy, you really have to question, because like if he doesn't even have the courage to actually send you that message, it shows indecisiveness, right? And imagine if you get married to such a guy, they'll be expecting you to make the decisions all the time. Then you'll question your own sense of security, right? So we finally logged onto the site. Yay! Your profile photo is gorgeous. All right, that's good. And then now in the interface, there are all these options, and I think based on what I've already said, we'll have a look at a couple of profiles and then we'll continue on. That's all I'll say for now. Right, thank you very much for listening. Alright, so we're up on this site once again. We're actually going to trial a real life example. I've got my friend with me and it's her account we're using, but I'm not showing her face because confidentiality. Right, I'm no expert on dating websites, but let's just see it. It's always interesting to explore. So basically each dating website has got all these preferences. One thing to note is that for some people they don't really declare their, like, they might have some preferences but it doesn't really reflect. So like for example, if they say that they're looking for someone between say 5'4" and 6'2", then if you're a little bit above or below that range, most probably it's still acceptable. It's just them putting this arbitrary value down there. It's kind of the same. Like if you're in your mid-20s, then you'll be on your profile, you might actually state that your preferred age range is someone from the mid-20s to maybe the mid-30s. But of course, if a 40-year-old guy who looks young, thinks young, is a responsible man, fun-loving, and he totally comes over and rocks your world, totally makes you interested, and you feel like you're connected soul to soul, then you're not gonna say, okay, this guy's 3 years above my range, so bye-bye. Kind of things. I know in some cultures it's extremely specific, perhaps in the Indian culture with the caste and things like that. Alright, so come, let's see. Have you used your profile in the past few days? Yeah, you have. Okay, I'm gonna cover the image. So as you can see here, right, it says 2 new interests. That's the kind of pussy thing I was talking about in the last video. If they were truly interested, they'd send you a message. That's how I feel from a male viewpoint. Okay. Unless, of course, it's something to do with the website. So let's say if you can only send messages if you're a paid member, something like that, then maybe that could be a bit excusable. The person could possibly be as curious as you and as new to the website, so they might also just be checking it out, right? So let's see. So right now, I'm just gonna stop the recording for. Alright, so when you sign up with some kind of dating website, whatever it is, one thing you might want to look into is to actually check out the details of the website itself. Muslima.com, obviously, it's one of the leading, if not the leading Islamic matrimonial or dating websites. So, but then you want to see from a female viewpoint, like how many users are male and female, because you know it might be a rough gauge of how good your chances are. So personally, of course, I've not used the Muslima, but like I know, for example, right, in the Western men, Eastern European women dating industry, I know that a site such as Yelena's Models have about a 3-to-1 ratio, so 3 men to every 1 woman. That's probably because it requires the woman to pay as well, you know, equality. But some of these websites, what they do is there are a lot more women than men, because firstly it's free for women, so any old kind of woman, even if they're just curious or not interested, even hookers and green card chasers, you know, they'll also sign up. There's plenty of them in Eastern Europe. Alright, so let's just go onto Google. You probably can't see that clearly, right? So just the camera a bit. So let's see. Okay, what do I type in? So Muslima.com, perhaps review. Okay, reviews, there's a lot of them. So what I really want is the statistics, so that we can see, because there'll be some review websites which actually talk about demographics as well. Okay, so of course the first few are paid ads, of course. Yeah, right. See, Muslima.com stats tools. Let's have a look at this. I'm not sure, this might be some webmaster tool, but we'll soon find out. So basically what I'm trying to find out is what kind of demographics go onto it, because obviously if it's a site where most people are in their 50s, then you know, if you're 20 something, you probably want to steer clear of that. Okay, so what does this say? Enter your query there. Right, so this isn't exactly what we wanted. This is webmaster tool, so for, you know, search engine optimization type thing, domain management and things. So let's see, there's this dating sites review.com, Muslima.com dating site review. Let's have a look at this. Okay, traffic statistics. This is not what you want from a user's viewpoint. 5 of the best Muslim matrimony sites. Alright, let's have a look at this. Okay, so it starts off with, you know, if you're interested in dating a Muslim, Muslima.com is an ideal dating site. Alright, so pros, and see, look on the right side, this dating review site is pretty good. See, you probably can't see it that clearly, but it has things such as, you know, pros and cons, membership details, relationship basics, costs as well. Cost is very important, right? Okay, let's see. Positive, you can contact and receive messages from paying members for free. So which means that maybe some of the guys who have shown expressions of interest are not paying members, right? Easy to determine who is a paying member. Of course, I haven't really looked at the interface, but probably soon we'll find out. Okay, so later when we go on someone's profiles, okay, if the profile's a different language, it can be translated. That's also good, even though translations are not always foolproof. Negative features, you cannot serve your search criteria to use at a later date. That's not really a problem at all, because then, you know, your search criteria might change, or it also gives you a bit more discipline that each time you log on and you have to retype your search criteria again. That's a good thing, because it just gives you the discipline that, okay, this is the kind of man that I want, right? And besides, if your search criteria doesn't change but more users join the system, that's also a good thing. Yep, okay. Automated match system could be more detailed. Right, this kind of thing is kind of subjective, right? Okay, so free memberships includes all of these, you know, lifestyles, background, okay. So far it looks good. Relationship types allowed, straight, gay and lesbian. Okay, for a traditional Muslim website, it's a bit out of the box, but it's okay. I mean, well, I'm a liberal. Okay, so membership cost. Free, gold and platinum. So gold allows you to contact all members, instant messaging, 1 month for $29.99. Okay, that's not too bad. Reviewing and communicate. Oh, testimonials, right? Sometimes you can look at it seriously, but sometimes just take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, I was first a non-paid member. After a few days, paid for a gold membership. A long story began. The quality is the main problem. Girls which I met there are searching for vested interest or personal purpose, like wanting someone for his citizenship or his money. Alright, this person probably doesn't really know what he's doing anyway. That's why he has got this. Alright, 5 of the best Muslim matrimony sites. Muslima.com, okay. Clearly the one with the biggest numbers. Okay, let's see. Oh, there are a few of them. So, my friend's outside at the moment, but the moment she comes back, I'll alert her to this as well, right? So Muslima.com statistics. See, I'm changing my search once again. User demographics. Okay. Let's see if these keywords yield some better results. Okay. First one isn't what I'm looking for. Traffic and demographics. It might be. It might be. Let's see. American Muslim demographics, online dating trend. Look at the popularity of Muslim websites. Okay. Let's have a look at this one as well. Okay. So, slight change of plans. What I'll do now is I'll try to go to those websites which actually review dating websites and do put all the demographics and personal comments on, and then from there I'll search for Muslima.com, and hopefully someone has reviewed the sites and actually look at the stats. Okay, so even though I haven't found out exactly what I wanted in such great detail, here are some preliminary statistics from this website, from the datingwise.com blog. And it says the top of the list is clearly Muslima.com with 433,000 plus users, and the second would be Kiran.com, which is 143,000. The rest, such as Muslim Match, Muslim Friends, Islamic Faces, only have a couple of thousand members. Alright. So basically what I'm looking for is, because my friend's profile is a female profile, so I want to see those with a higher percentage of men. So Muslima.com's 45% men. That's pretty good because it's pretty even both sides, right? Kiran.com has 34% men, so it's a little bit less favorable, but they've got many users, right? So the other three websites, MuslimMatch.com, Muslim Friends, and Islamic Faces, only have a couple of thousand members in total. That can be a good or bad thing, because, right? Well, firstly, I'm no expert in this industry. I'm only talking from the viewpoint of a Western man who is looking into Eastern Europe as a potential wife hunting ground. So within this particular community, sometimes what those large-scale websites, how they operate is that they have lots and lots of members, but there's no screening process. So any Tom, Dick and Harry can be there. So in the case of Eastern European and Western men type websites, you will see that there are a lot of men who are just, sex tourists. They're just in it for the sex. They're not serious about wanting to find a life partner. And on the other side, there are many women who are only they're professional daters, or they're just someone who's curious, or basically want to rip men off their money as well. So that's why larger websites like these, you have to be wary sometimes. Of course, it doesn't mean that everyone's a scammer. Clearly that's not true, right? So maybe the smaller websites, I suspect the reason why the membership base is slightly smaller is maybe they're slightly more selective. Of course, we haven't been to these sites yet, but I'm just speculating that maybe it's more like a family-run business or something along those lines, where there's at least some screening process to make sure that people who are just in for the sex, or have all kinds of different motives, green card chasers, probably won't join this type of sites, right? Yeah, so you might be wondering why some dating websites are free and some are paid, right? So generally, I'll just give you a general rundown of this. Basically, it's just a different model of money making on the site. So what happens is, sites that are 100% free, a lot of the time what they do is they make money from advertisements. So basically, you know, you go in, you create your free profile. Hey, it doesn't cost anything, right? So might as well create one. And then as you use the site, you'll see adverts all around here. And how this system works is there are companies like Google AdSense, one of them, but there are a lot of other companies. And what they do, right, is that, you know, if you could drive a lot of traffic to your website, it doesn't even have to be a dating website, it could be a blog, right? And a lot of people actually see your advert. I think it's like called CPM, right? So for every 1,000 people that actually get exposed to the advert, you get maybe like, I don't know, a few bucks. So that's why it makes sense to have a free dating website, because then any Tom, Dick and Harry could just join because it's completely free. They'll go in, they'll be exposed to the advert, and because it's free, it'll attract a lot of people, and that's how they earn their money, and because that's their business model. Whereas if some of these dating websites are paid websites, you'll probably see a lot less advertising, even though there probably is a little to supplement their income. So they're probably making money from the members itself, right? Because the members themselves are paying. And one advantage is that, you know, even though paid websites might not have a large membership base, what it does provide for is basically it gives one layer of quality control. It's not the perfect layer, but you see, if you're actually going to pay for a website, it means that, you know, firstly you can afford it, and secondly you have some trust for it. Maybe it's got a good reputation. And so that's why sometimes if they want to attract paid users are more serious about it, because there's one saying that goes, your wallet is one of the reflections of your heart, something along those lines. So if you really care about something, then basically what you spend on, it'll be reflected on, you know, what you spend your money on. So if you really cared about fishing, for example, then you would go and buy the best fishing rod. If you really like cars, then you'll spend money, you know, pimping up your vehicle, right? So it's kind of the same thing, that if you're really serious about wanting to find a life partner, you would, one would assume, actually pay for membership. Now obviously it's not foolproof. Some websites have really cheap memberships, and so even guys who are thirsty and hungry for sex can go to those websites, but it actually provides at least that level of security. It's like the first layer of checks, if you will, whereas free websites don't have that. You know, people could have fake accounts, fake websites, and do all kinds of illegal things with that, such as, you know, webcam sex, and then blackmail the other person, for example. Okay, so just something to think about when signing up. Did you enjoy the video? If you did, please consider supporting my business by engaging with me on social media at the links provided below. One more thing, are you looking to get in shape or know someone who is? If yes, head on to granitefitness.com.au for access to some free videos on getting in shape. Your support is appreciated. Have a good day, and I hope to entertain you again soon.